So the number of people who didn't want to be in a band with a husband and wife because they were convinced that we were going to fight constantly and that the band would eventually, sooner rather than later, break up.
I'm Jody Vanesky.
I'm Denise Crouse, Silver Crow Asylum, and sometimes we are Groove Time, but that's when it's the big band, and he's got his name on top of that one.
St. Patty's Day.
Holy shamrock, Batman. We got a gig on the 17th. It's a Thursday night, and
At Ponderosa Brewing.
Alicia says, can you throw a couple of Irish kind of tunes in there? And he's gone nuts. We've got a whole set worked up now of old-time Irish and some new-time Irish. So
yeah.
What are we playing?
6 to 8:30.
Right, 6 to 8:30.
On St. Patty's Day. Kind of fun because I've always wanted to play Irish music. I'm part Irish. And some of the first songs, on harmonica, you don't play a lot of solo songs. You're mostly doing ensemble stuff with other people. So some of the first things really that I learned solo were Irish jigs on the harmonica, the Turkey in the Straw and Haste to the Wedding kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this and branching out and playing some other stuff.
And as a rhythm guitar player, you always start out playing those 3-chord folk tunes, and a lot of those are Irish based as well. So we're working up, it's like old home week, going back to the G, C, D7 kind of songs, and it'll be fun. Well, I'll start because I started first.
Yeah.
My dad was a musician in Chicago. He was a folk singer and guitarist, and he had a band named Summer Sun, and they would do all the little bars in Chicago. He always said he was 1 week behind John Prine back in the 70s. And his band played for all throughout my middle school, high school years, and when I was in college. And so I would sit in the other room when they were playing, and I had a guitar, and I would learn their tunes as well. And then he also had a good friend who became my mentor and my teacher, and Richard Harris taught me a lot of the basic kind of country licks, and I was always just a flat picker, finger picker, a rhythm guitar backer, and singing to all the songs. So when Jody moved down to Chicago and he was courting me, I was in a all-girl country western band called Swang and Twang, Silver Celeste and the Swang and Twang Band. And I donned the big black hat and backed the girl with the big blonde hair. And we had a great time. But you weren't playing then.
And I was not playing. I had a harmonica, I think, at the time, maybe. But, didn't know how to play it, didn't do anything more than just honk on it every now and then. And when we moved back to Wisconsin, we're both, by this time, 30 years old. And my brother quit his job at a meat packing plant and decided, he was going to make it big and play music full time. And the first night that he was playing, the family goes out. We're all drinking and having a good time. And it's after midnight. And my brother calls me up to the stage, and I'm thinking he just wants me to go over to the bar and get him another drink or a shot or something. And he hands me a harmonica, and he says, well, my harmonica player didn't show up, so you got to play this song. And I'm like, I don't know how to play, but I had like 2 or 3 beers by then, so he could talk me into anything. He's like, oh, all you got to do is, blow into this and, draw, and it'll be good. And so I get up on stage, and he starts playing Stormy Monday with T-Bone Walker song. And of course I was awful. I mean, I never played. And I get off stage and people are chucking stuff, lemons at me and stuff. And we're laughing and having a good time. And I go over and sit down next to Denise. And she leans into me and she, being a musician her whole life, she says, don't ever do that again. That was embarrassing. And we laughed about it. Well, the next day my brother gave me a recording of that song. And and I started practicing. And after 2 or 3 months, when his other harmonica player didn't show up, he would let me sit in and play one song with him. And then all of a sudden I decided that I liked practicing. So I started buying discs and started practicing, and the next thing I know, I'm, that's what I'm doing. I don't know.
Then it's harmonica all the time in our life. And, I've lived through.
That's right.
What is it? 15,
yeah.
16 years of it.
A couple years ago, I was like, I'd really like to take up trumpet now. And she looks at me and she's like, no, I'm not going through that again.